You have 2 days off, just 2, and you've already told yourself that's not nearly enough time to go anywhere real. That the beaches, the rainforests, the glowing turquoise water, all of that is reserved for people with 2 full weeks off and a fat bank account. You are wrong. There is a place where an American can land in what feels like a completely different world by Friday night, spend 2 genuinely unforgettable days, and fly home having spent about what a single concert ticket costs. No passport required, no foreign currency, no roaming charges. Stick with me for the next few minutes and I'll prove it to you hour by hour until you're checking flights before this video even ends. The place is San Juan, Puerto Rico. And here's the cheat code that most people completely forget exists. Puerto Rico is a US territory, which means if you're an American, you need no passport, you spend regular US dollars everywhere, and your phone just works exactly like it does back home. No international plan, no roaming fees, no fumbling with SIM cards at the airport. And yet, the second you step off that plane, you walk straight into swaying palm trees, 500-year-old Spanish forts, salsa music drifting down cobblestone streets, and a real dripping Caribbean rainforest. It is, hands down, the single easiest abroad trip you will ever take in your life, all the payoff of leaving the country with almost none of the friction. And it happens to be the perfect example of a travel trend that quietly took over how young people vacation. That trend has a name, the microtrip. Instead of saving up all year for one giant 2-week vacation that you take exactly once and blow all your time off on, you take short, punchy, 2 to 3 day getaways that slot neatly around a normal work schedule. And the data backs this up hard. Younger travelers are leading a genuine boom in these quick escapes. And honestly, it makes total sense. We don't get much paid time off. Flights and hotels got expensive. And nobody wants to wait an entire year just to feel alive for a week. The microtrip is the workaround. Maximum experience, minimum days, minimum money. You stop treating travel as this rare, massive, once-a-year event and start treating it as something you can actually do this month. And San Juan might just be the single best microtrip on the entire planet for an American. Here is the math that proves it. Now, sure, you could microtrip down to Cancun or over to Nassau in the Bahamas, and plenty of people do. But every one of those needs a passport, foreign currency, and a whole extra layer of airport chaos and customs lines. San Juan skips absolutely all of it. From most of the East Coast, you can be wheels down in San Juan in just 3 to 4 hours. Direct flights run constantly, all day long, and here is the real edge. Unlike a lot of Caribbean spots that are basically one single resort strip and nothing else, San Juan hands you 3 completely different worlds stacked right on top of each other. A living, 500-year-old historical city, a genuine tropical rainforest, and a bay of water that literally glows in the dark. All of it within about an hour of each other. That insane variety, packed into such a small radius, is the exact reason 48 hours here feels like a full week somewhere else. So let's talk the actual number, because that's the promise I made you up top. Book a few weeks out and fly a budget carrier midweek, and round-trip flights from the East Coast can land somewhere in the low to mid-hundreds. Then skip the fancy resort completely and grab a hostel or a small guest house in Old San Juan, or the Santurce neighborhood. Often somewhere around $30 to $60 a night, so under $150 for both nights. Eat where the locals actually eat, and a big plate of mofongo or fresh-caught seafood runs you a small fraction of what a night out costs back home. Add in a couple of tours and cheap public transport, and the whole weekend can genuinely come in right around a single average paycheck, sometimes noticeably less. This is not a rich kid trip. This is a regular person, regular budget trip. And now let me actually spend those 48 hours for you, hour by hour, so you can see exactly how it flows. Day 1, morning. You drop your bag and head straight for Old San Juan, the historic heart of the city, and honestly one of the most beautiful colonial districts anywhere in the entire hemisphere. Streets paved in these gorgeous, worn, blue-tinted cobblestones. Buildings painted in every warm color you can imagine: coral, mustard, teal, pink, stacked up narrow lanes, and towering over the water at the edge of it all, 2 massive Spanish fortresses, El Morro and San Cristobal, that have guarded this harbor for around 5 centuries. You can walk the very ramparts where soldiers once stood watch for pirate ships on the horizon, all for just a few dollars to get in, then spend the entire rest of the afternoon simply getting lost here on foot. No car, no rigid plan, ducking into little plazas and courtyards. This single neighborhood alone would honestly be worth the flight, and you haven't even touched the rainforest yet. Day 1, night. This is where San Juan turns the energy all the way up. Head over to La Placita de Santurce. A normal produce market by day that completely transforms after dark into a sprawling open-air street party. Music pours out of every corner bar. Locals and travelers spill together into the plaza, and the whole neighborhood just comes alive. Grab a cold drink, and here is a fun one. The pina colada was reportedly invented right here in San Juan, and eat your way through the food stalls and little restaurants for about the price of a fast food combo back home. This is the part of a microtrip that people badly underestimate. You do not need a jam-packed itinerary to have the night of the trip. You need one great unplanned night that reminds you what it actually feels like to be somewhere new and awake and alive. Soak it in, but don't stay out too late, because day 2 is the big one. Day 2, morning. About 45 minutes east of the city sits something you literally cannot find anywhere else in the entire United States, El Yunque, the only tropical rainforest in the whole US National Forest System. Picture towering waterfalls you can actually swim underneath, hiking trails completely wrapped in dripping green, sweeping mountain viewpoints looking out over the whole island, and the constant magnifer, gentle chirp of the tiny coqui frog, the little creature that's basically Puerto Rico's unofficial mascot. You can catch a cheap tour or a shuttle straight out from the city, hike for a few hours, cool off in a natural swimming pool at the base of a waterfall, and still be back in town by mid-afternoon. Think about that. In one single morning you go from 500-year-old colonial streets to standing in genuine, roaring jungle. And your day still is not over, because the very best part of this entire trip only happens after dark. Day 2, night. And this right here is the moment you'll be telling people about for years afterward. Puerto Rico is home to some of the brightest bioluminescent bays on the entire planet. Certain sheltered waters here are absolutely packed with microscopic organisms that light up an electric glowing blue the instant they're disturbed. So you climb into a kayak, paddle out onto the water after sunset, drag your hand to the surface, and it glows. Every single stroke of your paddle leaves a long trail of living blue light swirling behind you. Fish darting under your boat streak past like little blue comets. There's no filter for this, no photo, no video that comes remotely close. You genuinely have to be there, in the dark, on the water, to believe it. Spots like Laguna Grande near Fajardo run guided kayak tours out into it for a very reasonable price. And just like that, 2 days in, you've seen a Spanish fortress, hiked a rainforest, and paddled across a glowing ocean. Which, funnily enough, is the exact moment most people make the one mistake that can wreck a trip like this. Here's what nobody tells you before you book. Mistake number 1, timing. Puerto Rico's hurricane season runs roughly from June through November, peaking in the late summer. Go right in the thick of that, and you're gambling your 2 precious days off on the weather rolling the dice. The shoulder months are the real sweet spot. Mistake number 2, overpacking the schedule. People try to cram 5 neighborhoods and 3 different beaches into 48 hours, spend the entire trip stuck in transit and traffic, and come home somehow more exhausted than when they left. 3 worlds, done well and unhurried. Absolutely beats 10 worlds done in a stressed out blur. And, mistake number 3, treating it like a passport free-for-all just because it's technically home turf. It is still a real full-size city, completely normal street-smart supply, especially at night and around ATMs. Respect it, stay aware, and San Juan gives you genuinely everything. Get careless, and you learn the same hard lessons careless tourists learn absolutely everywhere. And here is the bonus. Most people don't even realize they're getting, you don't have to leave the city to hit the beach. Just a few minutes from Old San Juan, the Condado and Isla Verde stretches give you wide, warm, golden Caribbean sand and calm turquoise water right at the edge of town. Completely free to walk onto, no resort wristband required. So if your flight home isn't until the evening, your last morning can be spent doing absolutely nothing but floating in bathwater warm ocean with the city skyline behind you. That's the quiet magic of San Juan as a micro trip. Even the extra thing that would be the entire point of most vacations is just a casual bonus you stumble into here. And once you've actually done one of these, the entire way you think about travel quietly changes forever. Because San Juan itself isn't really the point. The formula is, pick somewhere roughly 3 to 4 hours out. Go for 2 to 3 days, midweek, booked a few weeks ahead so the flights stay cheap. Skip the resort, eat like a local, plan just 2 or 3 genuinely great experiences, and deliberately leave all the rest of the time wide open. Do exactly that, and you can have a trip that feels absolutely enormous, on a real budget, and on a schedule that a giant 2-week vacation could never possibly fit into. San Juan is simply the single easiest place on earth to run that formula for the very first time. No passport, no currency exchange, no jet lag, no excuse. So, back to the promise I made you right at the start. 2 days off, no passport, roughly one paycheck, a 500-year-old Spanish fortress, a genuine Caribbean rainforest, and an entire ocean that glows electric blue in the dark. That is not some far-off fantasy reserved for people with money and endless time. That is a long weekend you could realistically book tonight. The only thing that was ever actually standing between you and it was the story you kept telling yourself, that 2 days simply isn't enough. Now you know the truth. 2 days is plenty. If this genuinely rewired how you think about your 2 days off, hit subscribe. I break down one perfect microtrip exactly like this every single week. And if you want the next one, a place just as close, just as cheap, where your dollar stretches even further and almost no American has caught on to it yet, that video is waiting for you right there on your screen. Go book your weekend.